Hi, welcome back everybody. It's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. We're going to test the brand new Titleist TS1 Driver. So a driver that Titleist have brought out as a complement to the TS2, TS3, and obviously there's a TS4 as well. But this is a very different driver. It's very lightweight, extremely light on the shaft, light on the head, light on the grip, all about suiting the golf with that moderate swing speed. So I'm going to hit some shots in here. Obviously my swing speed is at moderates on the faster side, but I'm going to back it off and do some sort of slower swings around that sort of 80 to 90 mile an hour club head speed, which is typically what I find for a sort of average golfer would tend to get with the driver. I'm going to test it. Let's see what TS1 has to offer for that slower swing speed. So just before we jump into the video, if you enjoy the content I'm putting out there and you're watching regularly but you haven't subscribed, then please consider doing so. Hit that logo M&G in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon also, then you get notifications of any future videos that land on the channel. You'll be one of the very first ones to watch it. Okay, so TS1. So typically what we're seeing with more modern drivers now, all the talk is about low spin, and which is great for the guys who have plenty of speed and maybe for the guys who spin the ball quite high. But it's definitely, from what I find through fitting sessions here at the Academy, is there's a lot of golfers who haven't got that speed and also create quite a low spin. So if they haven't got the speed and the spin's low, then what they tend to see is this ball flight that sort of drops out of the sky. It's a bit of a nose diving flight, take a massive hit of the carry distance and also a little bit of then control of that actual golf ball. So this is where TS1 is maybe coming into the range that Titleist are offering. So lighter in the head, extremely light with the shaft around that sort of 40 gram mark for a shaft, which in the driver shaft is incredibly light, and also the grip's lighter as well. Depending on what grip size you go for, grip ranges from 25 to 31 grams in weight, so very much on that lighter side. And you feel that as soon as you pick the golf club up, it just feels light, incredibly light. So looking at that down by the golf ball, it's that TS look that we see on 2 and 3. Obviously the 4 is a smaller head, but this is a 460cc head, so same as TS2 and 3. So we're seeing that classic shape, black gloss finish. Nothing really changes from the appearance as you put it down by the golf ball. Obviously it's just feels a lot lighter, as I sort of mentioned. It looks to be a little bit more towed into my eye. I've got this set on A1, so we've still got the short fit neck, which has all the adjustability that we've seen, again, the other drivers, but it does look to sit a little bit towed in. So I'm guessing this is maybe a little bit more draw bias, which again probably helps those type of players who tend to hit a little bit more fade, stroke, slice. Right, let's get the first one hit. So I'm going to swing this, which will feel to me incredibly slow. It feels like I'm in slow motion here, but I'm going to try and get my swing speed around that sort of 80, 90 mile an hour mark. And this is really what TS1 is about. So we'll be interested to see how it performs when we get it in that sort of area. So let's get this first one hit. Okay, so that felt incredibly slow to me. So ball speed there was 125, club head speed 188. That flew quite nicely. It's got up there quite quickly. It sort of seems to stay in the air there, and I've got that sort of travelling. Yeah, I carried that at 200 yards there. So for that sort of swing speed, that's pretty good. Smash it around that 142. So the lofts available in TS1 is a 9.5, 10.5, 12.5, and then of course you've got the short fit, so you can start moving that loft and lie around as per, you know, to suit into your sort of loft delivery and what launch you're trying to achieve. This is a 10.5 I'm hitting, and I've got this in the Speed Air shaft, which is the 40 gram one in a regular flex. Again, there's different flexes in here, and there's also a Fubuki offering, which is a fraction heavier but still very much in that light bracket. Again, that felt like a nice strike, just working up that left hand side a little bit. Ball speed 120, club head speed 83 mile an hour, smash 144. So it feels great, sounds good. Again, it's not my speed. It feels like I'm going absolutely slow motion there. It does feel a lot slower than what I'm actually producing, to be honest. So we've got that weighted screw in the back section of the head, which is fixed. So again, that's all about pulling CG away from the club face, creating that higher launch, higher spin, hopefully, just to really sort of get that ball in the air. So as I said before, more the moderate swing speed of a golfer, or maybe in that slower bracket. A lot of those guys want sort of loft in the hands to try and launch it. They need the spin, and they need something to try and help them actually launch that golf ball as well. So having that sort of softer shaft will help it sort of kick in, deliver some more dynamic loft. The centre of gravity trying to be pulled back away from the face, again, is about higher launch and creating a little bit more spin on that ball as well. It's a nice straight shot. Does seem to fly, even though I'm swinging that very, very slow. That is 82, just short of 83 mile an hour club head speed. It's delivering quite a bit of loft there. It's delivering 20 degrees of dynamic loft, and that particular one spun just around that 3,000 mark there. So I've got that launch, I've got that spin. Because I haven't got the ball speed there, I need some spin to keep that ball in the air. So 3,000 for me at my normal speed is too high. So I see the ball climb and stall because I've got that extra speed on the golf ball. Most golfers don't have that extra speed, so they need the spin to try and keep that ball in the air. And that's exactly what TS1 is all about. So the other thing that's happening with TS1, it's a little bit different to maybe the TS2 and 3 and 4, is the length of it. So the length, standard length, Titleist driver length is 45.5 inches in length, which is typical for a lot of the brands. This in TS1 is actually 45 3/4, so it's 1/4 of an inch longer than the standard of 2 and 3. So again, that little bit of length helps to get a little bit of speed. So the lighter head, lighter shaft, lighter grip. The overall dead weight of this is, I think, around 275 grams. So it's very, very light as a total weight. So that's going to help speed. But then that 1/4 of an inch in the length of it will just gain a little bit more as well for that particular golfer. Now, we know length of shaft and how that works in with strike can make it difficult to get a central strike. So if you're a golfer that maybe moves that strike around a little bit, obviously through a custom fit, you don't have to have the 45 3/4. You can have that cut down to your desired length. Obviously through a good fitting, that can obviously be done. Okay, let's get another one here. Again, it's up in the air. There's no issues of just getting that up and away. Slightly quick on the speed, 87 mile an hour there. Lofting, dynamic loft at 21, but definitely getting that ball up and away. Okay, so just before I maybe go and look at those numbers, I'm going to have to do this, aren't I? I'm going to go at it at my normal speed with TS1. So clearly this could, well, I'm expecting this to go very high, very spinny, and maybe a little bit struggling of control of the actual flight. But let's give it a go. I'm going to just go at my normal speed here. Clearly this isn't designed for me as a golfer. Let's give it a go. As a T-peg's just rattled into the roof there, and that's gone very high and very left. So I think definitely that more draw biased in there, the softness of the shaft, just really sort of whipping that head in and clearly missing that up quite a long way up that left-hand side. Let's we'll hit another shot. That's a good strike, and again, working up that left side, it's high. It looks to be really stalling in the air. Yeah, and you can see, most of you know mine sort of numbers really, that's total of 280, and I've hit that pretty well there. Ball speed 164, so it's not bad, it's just spinning up around that 3,300 mark, which is way too much, obviously. So, right, let's go look at some numbers, a little bit more detail of TS1. Okay, so look at the numbers here. So we're going to look at the red ones first. That's when I did my slow swing speed. So my average speed there was 85 mile an hour clubhead speed, which, as I mentioned before, is typically in that area that I see a lot of amateur golfers. So that gave me a ball speed averaging it at 121. Clearly that will move around as I move my strike, as you can appreciate. But launching at 13 degrees, so I've got that good bit of launch there with that 10.5 head. Again, we've got different loft options, and through the Sure Fit neck sleeve, we've got, again, adjustability of that loft also. Looking at that spin number, you can see averaging at 2,700 and a half there. So again, strike will always change that a little bit more. So you can see when I just get that, maybe that strike a little bit higher in the face, maybe a little bit more toe side, you see it getting drop a little bit, as you'd expect with any driver. But as an average at 2,700 is obviously too high for me at my normal speed. But a good, get it up to that 3,000 mark in that moderate swing speed helps to keep that ball in the air, as I explained earlier. So that got us a carry of around that 184 as average. And then just out of interest there, clearly it wasn't quite dialed in for me, but looking at the performance of it with a fast swing speed, the shaft's not right, the head's not right for me, the loft's not right, the flexes are right. There's not a lot right about that club to suit my swing speed, but just out of interest here more than anything. So ball speed 163, you can see my spin just goes up the roof, so you can really see how a shaft can make a difference. That spin number, as well as that sort of loft, is also, you know, wrong loft, wrong shaft, flex can really create a different sort of spin characteristics. So very much killing my distance from what I normally hit. So 263 through the air, 281 total. Right, okay guys, so there we go, there's TS1, a very, very light option from Titleist. I think that's going to be a really popular option. We see so many golfers in that swing speed area, and as I said earlier, more modern drivers now, it's all around that sort of low spin, high launch, low spin. But if I find so many golfers in that category, they are actually in that low spin, but they don't have the speed as well, so they're just struggling to keep that ball in the air. So I think TS1 is going to tick a lot of boxes for a lot of golfers. So it's obviously not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but again, there's a lot of golfers in that swing speed area. Let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. Is that something that will probably be in your radar? Are you around that sort of 80, 90 mile an hour swing speed mark? Do you need that sort of help to try and keep that ball in the air? Or maybe just prefer that sort of lighter feel? It does feel a lot lighter than a standard driver. So, you know, comment down below here. Your thoughts, as always, is great to sort of see. If you haven't subscribed, as I said earlier, please do so. Very much appreciate it. It allows me to get a little bit more product like this early, so I can get the content out to you guys. Follow up on your social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter. The handles there are @MNGolfCoach, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.